I'm here today with my colleague Lana Nogue, who has extensive experience in both Alberta and Saskatchewan in strategic planning and inclusive education at the school and district level. And Lana has been working with a number of Jigsaw Learning's partners during this current reality that we're living in. And so I brought Lana in today so that we could talk about the positives that are happening out there. So hi, Lana.
Hi, Jennifer. Nice to see you this morning.
So Lana, given the interactions that you've been having with our educational partners, what might be your assessment of the current reality?
Well, it's been really incredible working with our partners during this really unusual, unique time in our, we'll probably experience once in our lifetime. And from it, I've really seen people come together. It has been really intentional in developing relationships, taking time to check in on each other. So I think that's been a great positive for us as a whole. I've really seen our district leaders be thoughtful about planning with their school leaders in navigating this current crisis and planning for the short term to get through to the end of this year. So we've seen some beautiful plans being provided for students and their families, and then intentionally checking in with those families as we go along. I've also seen our district and school leaders working together very collaboratively, closely, and frequently. So when previously we might have met once a month, every few weeks, I see us now connecting weekly, if not daily, to check in and really plan collaboratively how we're going to navigate these next few months. I think what's on everyone's mind is, again, when will schools open? When are we going to be able to get back to somewhat of a similar routine? And thinking ahead of what will next year bring and how are we going to be prepared for it?
It's been a balance in the conversations about what are we doing right now and what are we going to be able to do in the future. So if we focus on the right now, what would you say have been some of the most positive things that have been experienced during the pandemic?
I've seen teachers coming together to really collaboratively plan their lesson plans. I'm working with a district currently who has taken an approach of providing home learning experiences where they are planning cross-curricularly and really bringing together their lessons around a land-based, environmentally based unit of learning and providing opportunities for families to become involved in a meaningful way. So this has been an incredible journey, I think, for both the teachers, their administrators, and myself as a supporting educator to see how it's all come together. They've really been intentional in their co-planning. And once again, educators are connecting with their families more regularly. They have a system set up where they're connecting with their students and families on a weekly basis to really bring together not only how are the students doing academically, but also their well-being.
So it sounds like we're doing a lot of connection during this time. What might be some opportunities that exist as a result of the current reality that might not have been available before?
I think our educators and our system leaders, school leaders are all thinking, okay, what supports do we really need to make this work? And I think from those thought processes, there's been a beautiful collaboration happening in districts that have brought together teachers, the support staff, administrators, and then the existing supports within their districts, such as student services, their cultural teams. So the districts that I've been involved with, the teachers are now co-planning cross-curricularly and inviting their student services teams in to help with the differentiation piece. And they're also bringing in their cultural teams to bring an element of land-based learning, really accessing the environment. So students not only will have lessons that might happen inside their house, but also exploring nature around them. And it's really bringing a nice real world connection to their learning for the next few months.
Oh, that sounds incredibly exciting. We've discussed that you have a vast district and school experience. So as someone with that behind you, what sort of things would you be suggesting to leaders consider as we continue to move forward and plan for after this?
I think that's really been weighing on the minds of our district leaders, our school leaders. I think we've really navigated the immediate crisis, and now we're really thinking forward to okay, what does next fall bring? How are we going to plan for it? Our students will have been out of school for several months. Some students will find it difficult to come back to a regular schedule. Their sleep patterns will have been disrupted for several months. We haven't been working in a group setting now for many months. Even though we're connecting virtually, we still really don't have that same connectivity as people sitting together in a group setting and really having to navigate that for several hours a day. And for students, helping them to cope with the transition from sort of a really loose structure that they've probably been experiencing for several months to now having to follow group direction and so forth. Really going to have to be a thoughtful plan of how to support our students moving back into a school setting, working with groups, following directions throughout the day, switching from one subject to another for the older students without much of a break. These are all things that we just naturally think occur in our regular lives. Now, I think there's going to have to be some consideration of how to support students moving back into those typical routines. So looking at students' social, emotional well-being is going to have to be at the forefront of our thinking when we're planning for the fall. We must consider what supports do students need upon return to school? What social emotional supports do we need? What breaks might students need? What considerations might students need to navigate some of the, could be trauma, could be stress that they've been experiencing for the past number of months, with the uncertainty of our economy, with our family dynamics, and not being able to connect with their friends for several months. Having that all really start up again could be quite stressful for a lot of individuals. Stepping back from that as district and school leaders, how are we preparing our teaching staff to support the students as they come into their classrooms? So working backwards a little, we've seen districts starting to think about how are we connecting with our staff right now? What opportunities are we giving to our staff members to address and to talk about their wellness? How can we support one another? What tools do we have within our school setting to help one another? But then what other outside services might we need to access to support us as we're moving forward? And really thinking in a systematic way of how we can be prepared to support our students as they return in the fall. What will our staff meetings look like? Will a component of our staff meetings include a wellness conversation, a wellness activity? Will we need speakers to come in and to support us, or have some individual or small group opportunities for our staff, just to help us as adults navigate our new reality in the fall, and then subsequently support our students as they return?
It sounds like you've been engaged in some really deep conversations with a number of leaders at a number of levels, and it's a multifaceted approach that's happening out there with, okay, let's get through the now and let's think about the future, and trying to understand the impact that this unprecedented event is having on our students and on our staff. So I have one question for you, Lana. As we look to moving ahead, what it might be one thing you would hope that is not lost as we return to normal?
I think one of the greatest celebrations that have come from this really stressful, unique time is the connectivity. I've seen us as educators connecting with one another, lifting up each other, really being in tune and empathetic with each other as we've seen some of our leaders become stressed, as we are unsure of what's coming next. I've really seen the connectivity, people that are working closely together to those that I think we connect with virtually in our social media, really becoming aware of each other's struggles, believing that things will return to a new normal for us, but that it is doable, that we together we can come through this successfully in a supportive way, and that we've all learned something really, I think personally, each of us have become more aware of who we are as individuals, as educators, and the small things that individuals do really collectively result in some great opportunities for our students and our families.
Well, Lana, one of the things that I've always appreciated about you in the work that we've done in previous roles and coming together as part of this team is the empathy that you have for the context. Whatever struggles we might be going through, we can move forward. So I know that our partners are extremely appreciative of the patience and support that you're providing with them.
Yes.
Thank you, Lana, so much for giving us some time today and sharing with us the perspective from the work that you've been doing.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.